Now this topic, me personally, I'm actually very excited about. Now, guys and gals, finally, after years of anticipation, trailers, and all that exciting stuff, rumors, and so forth, finally, Elden Ring is finally here and available to play. Finally, Elden Ring is out, available for all modern game platforms, whether it's Windows, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series. This is going to be good. And you know what? As for the reviews, now that the embargo has been lifted, so many journalists are already saying it's like already like a masterpiece and one of the greatest video games of all time. And that's saying something when you look at their previous work, like the Demon Souls, Dark Souls trilogy, Bloodborne, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. It's already gone like a universally critically acclaimed higher number, like 95, 97 through Metacritic. Now, obviously, in this situation for this game, review copies were handed out for Windows, PS5, Series X. So anything regarding for PS4, Xbox One S, One X, PS4 Pro, it doesn't entirely matter. But you know what? That's fine by me. I mean, like, the new gen consoles are really the more powerful machines. And plus, it's the one that's going to grab most of the attention and clearly from software focused on those platforms. So it's really fine. If there's one interesting thing I do want to say about the new game, it's gotten comparisons with two prior masterpieces from different companies, like The Legend of Zelda The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which has gotten compared to, and Shadow of the Colossus. Now, unlike the previous From Software games that are known as always to be very punishing, difficult, and so forth, in this case, while those games have always been interconnected with level designs and at least having the space, the freedom to explore, but for this game, it's more of a open world. And this time, what you can do is traverse with horseback riding with a creature that looks like a half horse, half cow thing. Now, the premise, from what I understood, like the players can take the role of the lonely tarnished in an open world environment called the Lands Between. Now, the premise is about the Elden Ring shards being scattered with the realm being ruled by an eternal queen, the offspring of an eternal queen. Players have to traverse through the great ruins, restore Elden Ring, and become Elden Lord. So that sounds pretty epic. One of the reasons why there was so much excitement and hype for this game is simply because of, From Software game director Hidetaka Miyazaki, who has done most of the games as game director. Although I do want to mention Dark Souls 2, which for the most part is very good, but for some reason not very loved, maybe because of level design or whatever. Dark Souls 2, he was game supervisor while someone else was director, but for most of the other Soulsborne, Sekiro games, he was director. So he takes the role once again. And he did contact George R.R. Martin, the same George R.R. Martin, responsible for his novels A Song of Fire and Ice, which itself has inspired the Game of Thrones television series. So that's pretty good. He was a fan of Martin's work. So Miyazaki and Martin collaborated on giving him the creative freedom with an overarching backstory of the game's universe, the lore, and so forth. So Martin has had some involvement with the game. What's even more interesting is that some members from the Game of Thrones TV staff did assist as well with the game's development. So you can see how with big names like Miyazaki, George R.R. Martin did have involvement with the new game. Gameplay in terms of combat seems similar to before, but I it doesn't mean like it's like a tired formula at this point, despite the fact that there have been like some like a sub genre, whether it's like a Souls like or Soulsborne sub action RPG genre by other gaming developers that have made games inspired by it, and it shows the inspiration. It shows that it doesn't have to be easy and holding the player's hand, but challenging them, making them persevere making it difficult if they have to. And even looking back, like Dark Souls 1, it's still considered one of the greatest masterpieces and one of the greatest games ever. Which is why I'm glad it did get remastered. I mean, remastered at 1080p, 60 FPS. I mean, I have the original for the PS3, and oh my god, are those frame rates just awful. So I'm glad, me personally, that that game got remastered. And I love everything about Bloodborne. But that's why, like, although I'm not totally anxious to get a copy of Elden Ring right now, but I'm just glad and really not shocked that it is basically another great masterpiece. And I think it's going to be that one game that already a game of the year contender. And I wouldn't be shocked if throughout different award ceremonies, of course, it's going to get nominated, but I do strongly believe it'll nab multiple game of the year awards.